took the stripes that should have been mine, wore every sorrow, every shame, every crime.
Let's try to hide our scars.
Yeah, we really do.
Whether they are physical marks we cover up with long sleeves or emotional wounds we just bury under a busy schedule.
And a fake smile.
Right, a fake smile. The human instinct is almost always concealment. We want to present a version of ourselves that looks finished, polished.
Like we're in mint condition.
Exactly, mint condition. But then you look at the central figure of the Christian faith, and you see something completely different.
You see Jesus. And what stops you in your tracks is that even after the resurrection, after the victory was supposedly won.
After death was defeated.
Yes, after all of that, he kept his scars.
And that is the thing that I can't quite wrap my head around. Why would the risen Christ, who has the power to walk through walls and ascend to heaven, choose to still bear wounds?
That's a profound question.
Because why not erase the evidence of the trauma? I mean, if I scratch my car, I get it buffed out. I don't leave it there to show off.
Right, you fix it. And that creates a massive paradox for us to think about today. And to explore that paradox, we are taking a deep dive into a piece of music that really acts as a theological anchor for this specific idea.
Yeah, we are looking at the song Healing in Your Scars by the artist A Journey with Destiny.
From the album Redeemer of My Story.
And just to set the table here for you listening, this isn't just a music review.
Oh, not at all.
We aren't here to rate the melody or critique the production. Our mission for this deep dive is to move from the physical imagery in these lyrics to the spiritual reality they describe.
The underlying truth.
Right. We want to understand the finished story that those scars represent. Because if we miss that, we miss the whole point of the song.
And if we just view this as poetry, we miss the weight of the transaction. This song is describing an exchange. A very costly, very legal, and frankly, very bloody exchange.
So let's get right into it. The song opens with a line that immediately establishes the stakes. It says, "You took the stripes that should have been mine, wore every sorrow, every shame, every crime."
It's heavy right from the start.
It is. Now, that word stripes, I grew up hearing that word in church. You know, by his stripes we are healed. It almost sounds cleanly military to me, like a rank on a uniform.
Yeah, that is a massive linguistic drift we have to correct. We have really sanitized that word over 2,000 years.
We've made it safe.
Exactly. But if we want to understand the depth of this lyric, we have to look at the history. In the Roman context, the word used in the source text, which is Isaiah 53, the verse the song is quoting, it refers to the aftermath of scourging.
This is the Roman flagrum, right?
Yes, the flagrum. And this wasn't a whip like you'd see in a movie. It was a handle with multiple leather thongs, and woven into those thongs were pieces of sheep bone.
Oh, wow.
Or lead balls or metal hooks. It wasn't designed to just leave a mark. It was designed to rip.
So when the songwriter says, "You took the stripes," they aren't using a metaphor for having a really hard day.
No. They are referencing a specific state-sanctioned torture. The Roman scourge was designed to strip the flesh from the back. It often exposed the spine or the internal organs.
That is just brutal.
It was. It was public, it was humiliating, and honestly, it was often fatal before the prisoner even made it to the cross.
That is incredibly visceral. But the lyric connects that physical horror to a moral claim. It says, "You took the stripes that should have been mine."
That is the pivot point right there.
It's a hard thing to admit, though, isn't it? It feels really heavy to say, that punishment belonged to me. I think a lot of people listening might think, well, I'm not perfect, but I don't deserve that.
It is heavy, but it's the legal foundation of the entire concept. This is what theologians call penal substitution.
Okay, let's break that down. Penal meaning penalty. Substitution meaning swapping places.
Exactly. Think about our modern justice system. Guilt is non-transferable.
Right.
If you commit a crime, say grand larceny, you can't just ask your brother to go to jail for you.
The judge won't allow it.
No, you did the crime, you do the time. That's how our law works.
But the claim of the song is that in the divine court, the rules are different.
The claim is that the judge actually stepped down from the bench and took the seat of the accused. Notice the lyric lists three things: every sorrow, every shame, every crime.
It's an admission of debt.
Precisely. In the biblical worldview, sin creates a debt, and justice demands that the debt be paid.
So it's a transaction.
It is a lethal transaction. The song is arguing that Jesus didn't just step in front of a bus to save a child.
Which would be heroic but accidental.
Right. This was different. He stepped into a legal execution that had your name on the warrant.
Man, love carried burdens I could never bear. That line just hits differently when you frame it legally.
It really does.
It's the admission that I couldn't have paid that debt. I would have gone totally bankrupt.
Physically, you wouldn't survive the scourging. Spiritually, you wouldn't survive the judgment. That is why the substitution had to happen. He took the sin. He took the shame.
He took the rejection.
And he absorbed all of it so that you wouldn't have to.
Which leads us right into the chorus. This is where the shift happens in the song. The lyrics go, "Your pain became my freedom. Your wounding healed my heart."
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is essentially 2 Corinthians 5.21 put to music. He who knew no sin became sin for us.
It's the great exchange.
Exactly. Think of it as an asset and liability swap.
Okay, like an accounting term.
Yeah. On your side of the ledger, you have liabilities, sin, shame, spiritual death. On his side, you have assets, righteousness, sonship, eternal life.
And the cross is the moment the books are swapped.
That is the moment.
And I have to ask, isn't that unjust? I mean, if I commit the crime and he takes the hit, justice hasn't really been served, has it? It's just been deflected.
That is the age-old objection. People have asked that for centuries.
Because it feels like a loophole.
It does. But the counter-argument, and what the song is actually celebrating, is that because he is the creator, he has the authority to absorb the consequences of his own law.
Oh, I see.
He isn't deflecting justice. He is satisfying it personally.
So, your pain became my freedom isn't just poetic fluff. It's a literal statement of fact regarding that transfer.
Precisely. The cross is not just about forgiveness. It is about transfer. He absorbed the wrath, and we received the mercy. He took the punishment, and we received the status of a son or daughter.
There is a visual in the second verse that I think illustrates this transfer so beautifully, but it's also really intense.
Which line?
It says, "When I look close, I see my reflection in the hollow of your hands."
Oh, that is such a powerful image.
It is, but it's also kind of haunting. Imagine looking into the wounds of Christ, the hollow of his hands, and seeing your own face reflected there. What is the songwriter getting at with that?
It signifies two things simultaneously. First, culpability. It's saying, I'm the reason this hole exists. My face is there because my actions caused the hammer to swing.
That's the conviction part. That's the heavy part.
Right. But simultaneously, it signifies inclusion.
Yeah.
Well, if you see your reflection in his scars, you are realizing that you are part of his story forever. You are the specific object of the love that endured the wound.
Wow. Let's just sit with that for a second. Every wound reveals love that stayed.
Yes.
The love didn't flee from the pain.
It stayed right there on the cross.
And the verse continues. It says, "Your blood ran down, and in that crimson stream, you washed the broken pieces I never thought you'd redeem."
That line hits on a very common human experience. I think we all have broken pieces that we hide in the basement of our souls.
Things we don't want anyone to see.
Exactly. We think God can have the Sunday morning version of me. He can have a polite, put-together version, but he surely doesn't want this part.
The angry part.
The addicted part. The shameful history.
We treat those parts like scrap metal, just junk to be hidden away.
We really do. We try to present a curated collection to God, but the song counters that directly. It says the crimson stream washes those specific pieces.
The broken ones.
Right. The redemption isn't just for the good parts of you. It's for the parts you gave up on.
It connects back to what you said. The exchange works because it was voluntary.
It wasn't coerced. He chose to take it.
So we have this incredible exchange. He takes our brokenness. We get his wholeness. But we have to circle back to the central question we started with at the top of the show, the resurrection paradox.
Why keep the scars?
Right. If you have a glorified body, why keep the holes?
The bridge of the song addresses this head on.
Let me read it. It says, "In the holes where nails once lay, I see love that didn't turn away." And then the chorus reiterates, "There's healing in your scars."
To really grasp this, we have to look at the story of Thomas in John chapter 20.
Doubting Thomas.
Poor Thomas. He gets such a bad rap.
He does.
He wasn't there the first time Jesus appeared to the disciples. So he basically says, look, unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were, I will not believe.
He wants empirical evidence.
He does.
Which is fair. People don't usually come back from the dead. I would want proof too.
Very fair. But notice what happens when Jesus shows up. He doesn't scold Thomas for needing proof.
He doesn't.
No. He offers the proof. He shows him the wounds. And that moment tells us everything. Jesus didn't erase the scars when he rose,
Why not?
because scars tell a finished story.
A finished story. What do you mean by that?
Think about the difference between a wound and a scar.
Okay.
A wound is fresh. It's bleeding. It's open. It hurts. It requires immediate medical attention.
Right.
But a scar means the wound is closed. It means the bleeding is stopped. It means the healing has happened.
It means you survive.
Exactly. The scars on Jesus' hands and side are the eternal proof that the price has been paid in full. There is no more bleeding required. There is no more payment needed.
That is a huge distinction. I really hadn't thought of it that way.
The cross was not the end of Jesus, but it was the end of sin's authority.
So it's almost like a receipt then.
That is exactly what they are. They are the receipt. If he had no scars, we might wonder if the crucifixion really happened or if it really counted.
But the scars remain as a testimony.
They are the permanent evidence that the battle is over.
So when the lyric says, there's healing in your scars, it's saying that his scars are the proof that my wounds can be healed too.
Yes, because his scars prove that the penalty that caused your wounds has been completely dealt with.
That ties perfectly into the next line in the bridge. By your stripes, I am made whole, every fracture of my soul.
But I want to pause on that word whole for a second. We need to be careful there.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because sometimes in religious circles, people hear healing or wholeness, and they think it means a guarantee of a perfect life.
Right. The vending machine view of God.
Like if I have enough faith, I won't get the flu, I won't get cancer, my bank account will always be full.
You put in a prayer coin. You get out a perfect life. But that is not what this song or the source text in Isaiah is promising at all. We have to keep this grounded in steady truth. No prosperity gospel tones here.
So if I am made whole doesn't mean I'll never get sick or face hardship. What does it mean?
We have to distinguish between curing and healing.
Okay.
Curing is fixing the biological machine. It's getting the cancer out. It's fixing the torn knee. And that's good. We pray for that. But healing, especially in the sense of the Hebrew word shalom, is much deeper.
Shalom means peace. Right.
It means peace, but it implies completeness.
Completeness.
Yes, it means everything being in its right place. It means reconciliation. It implies the restoration of the relationship between you and your Creator.
So you're saying you can be physically sick and yet be spiritually whole.
Absolutely. You could be lying in a hospital bed, facing a terminal diagnosis, and yet be completely whole because your heart is healed.
That is profound.
You are secure in your identity. You are reconciled to God. That is the soul-level redemption the song refers to.
That's a vital distinction for us to make. Every fracture of my soul refers to the deep existential breaks caused by separation from God.
Correct. Those are mended. The relationship is restored. That is true wholeness.
And the bridge ends with this incredibly tender line. It says, every scar is speaking still. My child, I choose you and I will.
I choose you. That is the message of the scars.
It's interesting how much time we spend in life trying to be chosen.
Oh, all the time.
In our careers, in dating, in our social circles, we polish ourselves up. We hide the cracks because we think if people see the cracks, they won't pick us.
We think we have to be perfect to be valuable.
Exactly. But this song flips the script. It says, look at the holes in my hands. I already chose you.
It says, I didn't choose you because you were perfect. I chose you while you were broken. And these marks on my hands prove that I'm not changing my mind.
The scars are the cost he was willing to pay to exercise that choice.
That really kills the striving, doesn't it?
It really does.
And that's where the healing in the title comes from. It heals the insecurity. It heals the need to perform. When you realize the price has already been paid, when you see the receipt on his hands, you can finally stop trying to pay the bill yourself.
Your pain became my freedom.
Yes. Freedom from the penalty of sin, but also freedom from the sheer exhaustion of trying to save yourself.
As we start to wrap this up, I want to just sit with that imagery for a moment. The song ends with almost a whisper. It says, there's healing in your scars. Your love has healed my heart.
Notice it ends on a note of completed action. Has healed. It's done.
You know, for you listening right now, maybe you are in a place where you feel like your own scars are the only thing you can see.
It's a hard place to be.
Maybe you feel like your brokenness is just too much, too messy, or too old to be fixed.
If that is you, I would encourage you to shift your gaze today. It is such a natural human instinct to stare at our own wounds. We ask, why do I hurt? How do I fix this?
But that is a trap.
It is. The song suggests a completely different focal point. Stop looking at your own wounds for a moment and look at his.
If you've ever wondered whether your brokenness is too much, look at his scars.
Because those wounds on him were not accidents. They weren't a tragedy that befell some helpless victim. They were intentional acts of love.
They were intentional. And remember, he kept them. He kept them so that when you look for him, you recognize him not just by his glory, but by his sacrifice.
He is the wounded healer.
Mm.
And his love didn't turn away then, and it isn't turning away now.
That is the steady truth we can rest in today. There's healing in his scars, and his love has healed my heart.
Such a beautiful reality.
And look, if this conversation resonated with you, if you feel like this song met you exactly where you are today, I should mention that the album Redeemer of My Story actually has a full devotional associated with it.
Which is such a great resource because, frankly, these are huge concepts. You can't fully digest the theology of substitution and the nature of wholeness in just one short deep dive. You really need to walk it out.
Absolutely. The devotional walks you through this season, day by day, digging even deeper into these themes we've talked about. It's a great tool if you want to take this from a concept in your head to a daily practice in your heart.
I highly recommend checking that out.
So here is the final thought I want to leave you with. We started out by asking why the risen Christ would keep his scars. And the answer seems to be, he kept them for you. So that when you feel too broken to approach God, you can look at his hands and see that he understands brokenness better than you do. But think about this too. He didn't just keep them as proof of his pain. He kept them as proof of your worth.
You were worth the scarring.
You were worth it. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Don't hide your scars. You're in very good company.
Take care, everyone.